On Christmas night, my girlfriend told me she was going out to have fun with her girlfriends. But then I saw a photographer with a guy on her Moments feed, and that guy was the same colleague she had complained about countless times. Someone who had made it clear he was interested in her. I was so furious, my blood boiled, and I called her to ask what was going on. She brushed it off, saying they happened to run into each other at a bar and that the photo was just a punishment from losing. A truth or dare game. I was mad out of my mind and shot back. So what? Taking bed photos would be fine, too. She actually got even angrier than me and just hung up. After that, no matter how many calls or messages I sent, she wouldn't respond. I smoked 2 cigarettes but couldn't calm down. My gut told me the situation wasn't as innocent as she claimed. Who would take such a close photo with a guy at work who constantly hits on her? The more I thought about it, the angrier I got. Grabbing my car keys, I headed straight to the bar location she had posted on her Moments. The bar was holding a Christmas-themed night event. Women got in free, but the place was packed with more men than women. As soon as I walked in, I saw my girlfriend sitting there flushed and drunk, leaning into a man's arms. And that man was none other than Caleb Morgan, the same Caleb she always complained about. Caleb Morgan is such a pain. He knows I'm with you, but he keeps acting all caring and affectionate. She once told me, "Honey, you have no idea how shameless Caleb Morgan is." Today, in front of all our coworkers, he actually said he likes him, like he doesn't care I have a boyfriend. Back then, she was angry, her words full of disdain for Caleb. I eventually to comfort her, saying maybe he just likes her, but hasn't crossed any lines. But now, seeing her snuggled in his arms, where was the hatred I heard about? I felt a wave of rage surge to my head. I stormed over and grabbed Harley. Leah Monroe, what the hell are you doing here? People around us turned to look. Her girlfriends tried to step in, but I glared at them and they backed off. Caleb Morgan, seeing my furious look, got up to pull her back, but then sat down again, smirking and raising an eyebrow, as if daring me to say something. Just as I was about to lose sight on him, my girlfriend suddenly sobered up. "Nathaniel Hale, what are you doing, yelling like this in public? Don't you have any shame?" She struggled to break free and stepped back. I was about to explode. I had worried. She was just drinking and leaning on him because she felt bad, secretly hoping this was all innocent. But now I didn't think so. He vented all my frustrations. "Leah Monroe, you said you were out with your girlfriends. So what's he doing here? Does coincidence and you play such inappropriate games with him? And now you say I'm the one embarrassing you." Her girlfriends noticed my displeasure and whispered among themselves, "What a petty guy, can't even handle a simple game." Yala's face turned red, trying to save face, shooting back. What era do you think this is? I can't even say hi or sit next to a guy I know in a bar. Are you seriously making a mountain out of a molehill? A mountain out of a molehill? I almost laughed. You run into a corker, play a game that ends with you in his arms, then post photos like you're announcing an engagement. If I had gotten here any later, would it have ended with bed photos? What nonsense are you talking about? She was so angry. She couldn't speak, her shoulders shaking, eyes red, almost crying. Seeing her so upset, I felt a wing of guilt. Maybe I'd been too harsh. How can you be such a man and not trust your own girlfriend? Thinking the worst of her like this, Caleb Morgan suddenly spoke up, emphasizing, "Girlfriend." With a mocking sneer, putting his hand on her shoulder like he was comforting the victim. He acted as if he was the righteous one, catching me in the act. I was so mad I just slapped his hand away and shouted, "Who the hell gave you the right to talk?" and charged him. I wanted to punch him. Damn it. But before I could land a single blow, my girlfriend grabbed me, stepping in front of Caleb, tears in her eyes. "Nathaniel Hale, how can you be so dark and suspicious? You don't trust me. Fine, but trying to start a fight. Apologize. Apologize now, or we're done. Apologize. Yes, apologize to me and Caleb Morgan." She spoke seriously, as I worried the noise would drown her out. If it weren't for my upbringing, I swear I would have slapped her. I took a deep breath, trying to calm down and act rational. Then I turned and said, "Go with whoever you want, but I want an explanation." She didn't follow. At home, I chain-smoked half a pack, mimicked, jumping between Caleb Morgan's smug face and my girlfriend's aggressive words. But deep down, I still held on to a sliver of hope. I wanted to believe she was just upset about losing face, throwing a tantrum, and that once she cooled down, she'd come back. I sat on the couch in the living room, motionless. It was almost 3 a.m. when I finally heard the sound of the front door's keypad unlocking. My heart leaped. I thought, maybe she still loves me after all. But I couldn't let her see me lose face, so I deliberately kept a stern expression, waiting for her to speak first. She sat down beside me, expressionless, and said calmly, "Nathaniel, we need to talk." This wasn't what I expected. I thought it would be like all the fights before. She'd cry, I'd comfort her, she'd pout, I'd soothe her, and then it would be over. I said nothing, waiting for her to continue. "What happened today made me realize how childish you are. Your jealousy, your distrust, your terrible control over your emotions, and the fact that you're assorted to violence so easily." She paused, looked at me. I still didn't respond. Maybe afraid she'd think this was just her own opinion. "So," she added, "my girlfriends feel the same way." Girlfriends. You call the ones who egg you on to drink with shady men and take close photos your girlfriends. The ones who watch you get drunk and slump into another man's arms and do nothing. You call them girlfriends. I snapped at her. "Stop looking at everyone through your dark lens." "Okay, my girlfriends wouldn't hurt me. Anyway, after today, I realized we're not right for each other. After much thought, I think it's best we break up." I was speechless for a long moment after hearing that. Not because I was shocked or heartbroken by the breakup. Actually, I suddenly felt a sense of relief. What surprised me was that she didn't see any fault in herself at all. And the same girl who can't even come up with a decent excuse to take a day off work suddenly spoke so smoothly and stubbornly today. I had no idea Ho had taught her that. I smiled and said, "All right, I'll say a few words. 2. Adults need to take responsibility for their actions. You clearly crossed the line today. I don't know who's been egging you on behind the scenes, but Yao swallowed everything they said and did whole. This just proves you're a brainless woman with warped values. A brainless woman with warped values breaking up with me. That's called stopping the loss in time. A good thing. Well, get some rest now. I'm not going to leave you out on the street tonight. When you wake up, I hope you pack your things and leave quickly. I'm not sleeping here tonight. Since it's such a good thing, I might as well go buy some firecrackers to celebrate." I got up, not bothering to watch her reaction, dressed, grabbed my car keys, and left. I ended up crashing at some random hotel that night. The next day, I woke up to a message from Leah Monroe sent late at night. "Even though we broke up, we once loved each other. I hope you don't forget the promises you made to me. You promised to support and help me unconditionally. My mom's coming to visit from my hometown next week. I didn't want to worry her. Can I stay here a little longer? When she leaves, I'll move out. I'll share the rent with you during that time. I hope you understand a daughter's filial piety and can be kind to someone you once loved. Let's part on good terms and stay friends." Those 3 messages were more confusing than trying to understand a C trilogy. Damn, how did I never realize before how messed up her thinking was? Don't want to worry your mom. Real limit, she didn't want her family to find out that the fancy downtown apartment she bragged about was actually rented, not owned. The only thing I'm glad about is that I was cautious enough not to tell her the place was bought by my family. We actually have some money, but I've always said we're just an ordinary middle-class family and that the place he's rented. I was about to ignore her messages, figuring she'd give up, but then I thought, with her messed up logic, maybe she'd take silence as consent. So I replied with one word, leave. Sending that message felt like a huge relief. Not long after, Leah Monroe called. As soon as I picked up, she blasted me with accusations. "Nathaniel Hale, are you even a man? I've really misjudged you. I can't believe you're so petty." I cut her off quickly. Stop. I don't have a time to act out some abusive relationship drama with you. Don't tell me we can still be friends after up. From now on, we go our separate ways. Each back to our own home, find our own moms. All right, no dot till death do us part. Let's just be exes and never talk again. Diel Silencion, the other end. I thought she might start playing the victim again, but instead, she said firmly, Isabel Hart was right. Men like you are hopeless. You think I'm making excuses to cling to you. I'm telling you, last night Caleb Morgan begged me to go home with him and I refused. I didn't want to hear any more nonsense, and hung up. That morning, my head was pounding. From all the arguing, when I got home and opened the door, I was shocked. The whole place looked like it had been ransacked. Except for the large furniture, she couldn't move. Almost everything else was gone. Kitchen condiments like oil, salt, soy sauce, and vinegar weren't spared either. She even left me a note, saying it wasn't about taking advantage of me, just that. She also contributed to daily expenses. So, she's entitled to half of the household items. The funniest part, for all the things with lids, like the cooking pots, she took the pots but left the lids behind. Well, that's her idea of splitting everything 50-50ths. Honestly, I couldn't be bothered to argue with her. She moved out cleanly and I could just get everything new anyway. After changing the main door lock's password, I popped open a beer and sat down on the couch to relax when I accidentally scrolled onto Leah Monroe's social media. Thanks, darling, for helping me move and start a new life. Let's keep pushing forward together, she wrote. I almost sprayed me beer everywhere. My phone screen got soaked and I was scrambling to wipe it off, only to accidentally zoom in on her. Best, there was a photo of her less than 30 square meter living room completely cluttered with stuff. She moved out from a place. In her caption for anyone to see, read, "Poor darling moving all this alone. He must be exhausted tonight. He definitely deserves a treat." Sinister, smirk. I almost threw up. I thought, is she trying to disgust me on purpose? Underneath her best friend, Isabel Hart commented, "Wow, is that Caleb Morgan's place? Looks pretty fancy." Leah replied, "Yep, Itis, and he actually owns the place. Not renting. I just couldn't take it anymore. If I was going to be no way was I suffering alone. Time to get back at them." I pulled out the property deed, snapped some photos, and posted them on my own social media, visible only to Leah Monroe and Isabel Hart. Starting a new chapter. This home is officially open for a female owner. Let's work hard together. Fist pump, smug, smug. After a while, no reaction from Leah, but Isabel Hart messaged me right away. She started by saying she knew I was upset, but we shouldn't pretend to be something we're not. Editing photos and posting them to save face. She warned me to be careful, lest someone with bad intentions see those pictures and use them against me. I'm not stupid. I knew she was trying to bait me, but this time I was going to take the bait. I quickly sent her photos of the sales contract, purchase invoice, and property management agreement. Everything in one go. Just a house. What's there to fuck about? Should I go to the bank and get a deposit certificate, too, just for show? The chat showed her typing, then typing, canceling, a few times. Finally, she replied, "That's not what I meant. I just think you're both being too impulsive. Leah is a girl and kind of naive. Can't you just try to sue her?" I ignored her, but she kept sending messages. But this time, Leah did mess up. I actually tried to stop her, but she was drunk and not listening. "You bought this place early, huh? It must have appreciated quite a bit. Didn't expect you to be such a low-key rich guy. Now that your identity is out, I bet the line for female owner applications is long. Wow, didn't realize it's so late. Don't think about what Ila's doing now. It'll only upset you. Get some rest. If you're down, you can always tell me. I'm great at comforting people." All those subtle digs just confirmed what I thought. Birds of a feather flock together. None of these people have a normal mindset. I kind of regretted posting that status. The next morning, I woke up to a message from Isabel Hart. Just seeing her name annoyed me, and I was about to block her, but when I read the message, I was stunned. Leah came by looking for compensation. Just a heads up, compensation. She already took so much stuff. What else could she want? Mabesh suddenly felt guilty and wanted to pay me off. Before I could make sense of it, there was a loud pounding. On Theodore. "Nathaniel, I know you're in there. Open up, I need to talk." Still half asleep and foggy-headed, I opened the door without thinking. Leah Monroe stormed in, lowered her head, and went straight to the bedroom. She sat on the edge of the bed and started crying. "Nathaniel Hale, you heartless jerk. We've been together for over half a year, and you're shutting me out like this, huh? Turns out it was about the house." She went on tearfully. "Do you know how much I wanted to have a home with you? I knew you were renting, so I scrimped and saved, cutting back everywhere to try and save up to buy a house with you, and then you just had a place all along. If you told me earlier, I wouldn't have suffered so much." Her twisted logic cracked me up. I said, "Lady, hold on, we're not married, so whether I rent or own has nothing to do with you. You've been eating my food, using my stuff. Andy never even asked you for rent. When have I ever made you pay? I even took you traveling and bought you gifts. Who's the fool here?" She replied, "I don't care. That's just what men are supposed to do. You hid something this big from me. Who knows what else you're hiding? I gave you the best years of my life, and now you're telling me none of this matters." This really disgusted me. Not only is she brainless, she's shameless too. Was she always like this, or did she just become this way? What best years of your life? So, the only good time in your life is these past 6 months, and everything else is downhill. Well, I got to thank heaven for having eyes then. So, what now? Ya went to apply for the position of female owner. Does your current boyfriend, the one who just helped you escape this wonderful place, even know about this? Her eyes lit up for a moment, but she quickly caught the sarcasm in my voice. "HF. A good horse never returns to the grass. It's already eaten, but you can't just get away with hiding things from SO. You owe me compensation for emotional damages." I thought to myself, today is just ridiculous. Her and her father are both beyond belief. Seeing I didn't respond, she thought she'd convince me and continued counting off on her fingers. "I'm not even asking for half of this house. I know it's yours, but we've been together for over half a year, so you owe me some breakup money at least." With that, she waved 2 fingers right in front of me. "What? Oh. What?" Leah Monroe choked on her own spit, coughing for a good while before she caught her breath. "What? Oh, what? I mean, 20,000 for breakup compensation." He wasn't even mad. I walked over to the window, pulled back the curtains fully, letting the sunlight flood the room. "Missy, open your eyes wide and take a good look. The sun's already up and you're still daydreaming." Leah didn't get angry. Instead, she burst out laughing. "Fine, no compensation, huh? I wasn't going to take it that far, but you're forcing my hand." Then she sobered up and stared daggers at me. "So, She came prepared. I honestly didn't know if I should be impressed or just appalled. That really set me off. Coming to my place to throw a fit first thing in the morning, and now she's blaming me. I said, "Are you leaving or not? If you don't, get out. I'm calling the cops and charging you with extortion." Her face flushed bright red, looking like raw liver. She shot me a hateful glare, stood up, and left. After she left, I started tidying up Target, ready for work. Just as I pulled out of the garage, I got a call from the police asking me to come down to the station immediately. I thought it was some scam, and was about to curse when I heard them ask if I knew Leah Monroe. So, it's her doing. Well, I'd better see what game she's playing. Nervously, I went to the station. The officer who greeted me looked at me with pure contempt. "Nathaniel Hale, right? Someone's accusing you of rape." Rape, going that far. But I wasn't worried at all. I didn't do anything, so I wasn't afraid of any investigation. They took him to the door of the interrogation room, knocked and reported the suspect had arrived, me, and gestured for me to enter. Inside, Leah Monroe sat all the way in the back. Caleb Morgan was beside her, and opposite them was a female cop. The moment Leah saw me, she pretended to shiver with fear, covered her face, and buried her head on the table, crying. Caleb Morgan looked awkward, glared fiercely at me once, then started soothing Leah. "It's okay, baby. It's not your fault. Some people are worse than animals. Don't worry. I'm not judging you. Be good." That whole scene almost made me vomit up last night's dinner. I could literally feel my blood boil. It was like my hair stood on end. If this was a cartoon, steam would be shooting out of my head. "Leah Monroe, are you out of your damn mind? What nonsense are you pulling now?" I was about to grab her and force her to face me and explain everything when the female cop quickly blocked me with a sharp look, signaling me to calm down and sit. Leah cried even harder, slurring her words. "It's all my fault. I trusted you even. After all that happened, we're broken up, yet you pretend to be sick and weak to get my sympathy. I came to take care of you with good intentions." But instead she looked so ashamed she could barely speak, even slapped her thigh a few times in frustration, like a tragic, wronged maiden. I was so furious, I lost my temper and shouted, "Bullshit, sir, please control your emotions." The female cop slammed the table sternly. It tried to calm down and asked Leah, "Where's the evidence? You're accusing me of rape. What proof do you have?" "Proof? My unwillingness is proof. Marital rape is when a husband forces his wife to have sex against her will and we're not even married." Hearing that, I laughed. "Have you even read any case details? The convictions all come from victims, providing solid evidence. What about you? What do you have?" I glanced at Caleb Morgan and added, "Better be careful you don't end up with something else showing up instead, or you'll just lose more than you bargained for." Caleb's face visibly darkened, and he quickly exchanged a look with Leah Monroe. "I have photos," Leah said. "I took tons of pictures in your room. That should prove something, right?" "Photos? What kind? Off photos? Photos of me raping you? Don't tell me it's those old bed selfies we took together. Those don't exactly show you were forced into anything." By then, I was too tired to argue further. "Anyway, if you want to file a complaint, go ahead. I'll cooperate with any investigation. But if it turns out you're lying, remember that filing, a false police report, and defamation both carry legal consequences." At that moment, the female officer spoke up. "Leah Monroe, do you intend to proceed with pressing charges or not? But I have to make it clear. If the case is filed, no matter the outcome, someone will be held legally responsible." Leah went silent, clearly intimidated, and kept shooting Caleb pleading looks. Caleb patted her gently and turned to me. "Man, you're really not acting like one. No backbone, just squabbling with a woman over petty things." I was firing on all cylinders. I am a man. I don't need to just act like one. But you trying to extort money by claiming your girlfriend was raped. That makes you the real lowlife. I got to say, your freeloading skills are impressive. Caleb was left speechless and scrambled to save face. "Yella, let's go. No point arguing with someone like this. Just think of it like getting bitten by a dog. Don't worry, I'll treat you well. I'm capable of giving you a good life." With that, they pretended to comfort each other and left walking out of the station. The more I thought about it, the angrier I got. Although my innocence was proven and thinned, having this underscore dumped on me leaves a stench you can't wash off. Getting dragged to the police station on a false rape accusation was pure bad luck. From that moment, I started hating Leah Monroe from the bottom of my heart. She kept pushing my limits again and again. If I didn't make her pay some price, she'd really think I was a pushover. Luckily, it wasn't long before I got my chance for payback. Since Chef and Out, I owned the house. Isabel Hart had been popping up off and on trying to chat. I ignored her every time. But now, planning revenge against Ela, I decided to fake some warmth with Isabel and see if I could squeeze some info from her. One day, she sent me several selfies from a fitting room at the mall, asking which outfit looked it best. She wanted to buy something new for a college reunion. I sensed an opportunity was coming. knowing Isabelle and Leia were college friends. I unusually replied, "Is this a college reunion?" Isabelle must have thought her flirty selfies finally cracked my cold exterior because she replied enthusiastically, Yes, it's been almost 5 years since graduation, so everyone wants to get together. You know how girls are. They never want to lose face at these things. Help me pick the best outfit, please. Will Leia Monroe be there? Was my only concern. What's wrong with you? Still hung up on Leia Monroe. She's doing great. Didn't expect you to be so sentimental. A rich sentimental guy like you is rare. I'd be lucky to be with someone like that. Ugh. I cut to the chase. If she's doing well, then I'm not happy. So, how about to cheer me up a bit? We're best friends. I'd never do anything like that to her, she replied, playing the pureened, innocent bestie role perfectly. Well then think carefully. What's more important? We're being happy or you being happy? Isabelle went through several rounds of typing and canceling, like she was about to make a huge decision. After a long pause, she finally asked, So, how are you going to make me happy? The outfits you picked are good, but they're missing a very important accessory. Immediately excited, she asked, What accessory? A handbag. I once bought a Leia Monroe an LV bag, and she showed it off to you, right? I already knew how these best friends worked. They act like they're joined at the hip with all the dear and moi stuff, but behind the scenes, they're secretly competing over clothes, bags, cosmetic procedures, even boyfriends. Because of me, Leia always had the upper hand over Isabelle. Now, to get Isabelle to work for me, I had to help her even the score. So, here's the plan. Tomorrow, we'll go to the Chanel boutique. You can pick whichever bag you like. Isabelle was soft. She almost cried. The next day, with the bag in hand, she practically grabbed my arm and kept rubbing her soft chest against me, clearly wanting to jump into bed right then and there. After tasting that sweetness, Isabella stopped hiding it and spilled all the juicy, trivial dirt on Leia from their college days. That's when I found out besides Caleb, Morgan Leia Monroe was stringing along 3 other guys who had clearly shown interest in her. Wow, she's seriously fishing. But 2 of them weren't really that impressive, so she just kept them as backups. Another one was a successful older man with plenty of money, but he was married. Leia Monroe fancied herself still and demanded, not desperate enough to stoop that low, so she kept him on a leash, occasionally sweet-talking him into buying her small gifts. How shameless. And Caleb Morgan. That goes without saying, the guy who'd happily team up with his own girlfriend to extort her ex. His true colors were obvious without even weighing him. I quickly came up with a plan. I told Isabelle Hart that the handbag was just a slight edge over Leia Monroe's and that if she really wanted to crush her completely, I had another surprise for her tomorrow. That evening, I took Isabelle Hart out to dinner and brought 2 small gifts, a Van Cleef Arpels necklace and bracelet set, plus a Cartier watch. Isabelle went absolutely wild, practically hinting she wanted to go home with me right then and there. I told her, I've got plans tonight. These aren't for you to at the reunion, they're for you to casually flaunt over the next couple of days. Wait, you want me to reveal my trump card now? Won't that ruin my impact at the reunion? She was no longer trying to hide it. I laughed and explained, think about it. With her personality, do you really think she'll let you steal the spotlight at their... Who's going to get slapped in the face then? You, or the original girlfriend putting the mistress in her bliss? Isabelle stared at me for a moment, then covered her mouth to stifle a laugh. You really want to play dirty? If it's not dirty enough, it won't hurt. Following the plan, Isabelle arranged to meet Leia Monroe and casually showed off her new gear. She told me Leia's face immediately turned green with envy. Leia kept pestering Isabelle about where she'd get everything. Isabelle played coy, saying she just started dating a new boyfriend, who was very generous. Leia had no idea about my true financial status and would never guess it was me. She even pretended to be sour and suggested Isabelle bring her boyfriend to the reunion to show everyone up. Isabelle half-heartedly agreed and Thetpo arranged to bring their boyfriends to the event. Of course, that was my idea, because what kind of party would I be without Caleb Morgan stirring the pot? The reunion day finally arrived, held at a fancy local hotel's banquet hall. Back in college, Leia Monroe was the class beauty queen, so when she entered, all eyes were on her. Honestly, Caleb Morgan wasn't bad-looking either. Dress him up a bit and he could pass for a second-generation rich kid. As soon as they sat down, their entourage started praising them. The class beauty always stands out, not a trace of hard knocks. If anything, she looks even better. The boyfriend, too. Look at his vibe. He must be some big shot heir, right? Caleb humbly waved his hand and said, No, I'm just like everyone else. Just a regular worker. Got to admit, the guy really knows how to put on a show. Leia just smiled modestly and said, Oh, I'm getting old, while pretending to be shy as she fiddled with her hair. Sharpied people noticed a Rolex peeking out on her wrist. Wow, that Rolex is hard to get. Stores mark it up, and it's still impossible to find. Didn't expect to see it on the class beauty's wrist. Leia acted embarrassed and exaggeratedly tugged her sleeve down to cover the watch. No, my boyfriend took me abroad and happened to buy it at a duty-free shop. Caleb glanced at Thuach with a hint of doubt, but Leia gave him all the credit in front of everyone, so he didn't dare ask questions. The crowd cheered. Wow, that's impressive. Buying a Rolex like picking up groceries. Someone's paying for this dinner, huh? Leia looked at Caleb and said, that depends on whether it's willing. With all the flattery, Caleb had no choice but to force a smile and say, yes. More praise followed. Leia didn't lose her head though. She remembered who her biggest rival today was, Isabelle Hart. Don't talk about me. Today's star is Isabelle Hart. She just got a new boyfriend, and he's supposed to be amazing. This is his first public appearance. Get ready to worship. With that, she shifted everyone's attention. From afar, I watched everything unfold, quite pleased. After all, you got to start with the sky, before bringing someone crashing down. Isabelle made her entrance right on time, clearly enjoying being the center of attention, especially with Leia in her sights. When Leia saw Isabelle arrive, she practically wanted to reach out and grab her hand, waving and putting on a fake air of intimacy. She circled around, looking everywhere. Hey, where's your boyfriend? Didn't you say he'd be here? Edibe, Isabelle glanced at Leia's wrist and casually replied, he'll be here. He's just running late on his way now. So mysterious. How amazing can he really be to keep it all under wraps like this? Isabelle Hart shot Leah Monroe a sharp look. Maybe there will be a surprise. Don't be too shocked when it happens. After the small talk died down, the party was finally ready to start. Every gathering is pretty much the same. There are the braggarts, the show-offs, the players, the networkers, and those who just eat and drink with no care for anything else. It was clear Leah Monroe was really curious about Isabelle Hart's new boyfriend. She genuinely wanted to know what kind of man could transform Isabelle so completely in such a short time and kept asking, where's your boyfriend? Why isn't he here yet? Isabelle's answer was always, almost here, just about to arrive. Isabelle, you're not making up a boyfriend to fool us, are you? We're all classmates. No need for that, Leia chuckled. At Fatman, the banquet hall doors swung open. Everyone thought Isabelle's boyfriend had arrived and turned their heads with a collective, wow. But what appeared at the door was a short, chubby, nervous-looking guy holding a bouquet of flowers. He was nothing like the image everyone had imagined for Isabelle's boyfriend, and the stunned wow stuck frozen on their lips. Leia's expression instantly soured, but Isabelle remained calm, casually picking at her food. The shy guy walked up to Leia, slipped the flowers into her hand, voice trembling. Leela, I'm here. The shock was so strong, everyone kept their mouths open, turning to look at Leia in unison. Someone whispered, is this a live confession? Leia awkwardly pulled the guy aside. Julian Rhodeses, what are you doing here? Julian looked just as confused. Didn't you say we should bring dates to the reunion so I could meet your friends? Everyone finally closed their mouths, but their ears perked up. Leia panicked. When did I say that? Julian got anxious too. You messaged me saying your phone died and asked me to come support you at the reunion. Leia realized someone was messing with her, but the situation didn't allow for explanations. She just urged Julian to leave quickly. Come on, Leia, is that all? How about I wait outside, and at Tath reunion, we go catch a movie? By now, whispers had turned into loud chatter. Caleb Morgan couldn't sit still either. His face darkened as he strode over. Isla, who is this? What's going on? Before Leia could explain, the main door creaked again, and a tall, thin guy poked his neck inside. Seeing Leia surrounded by Julian and Caleb, heckered in. What are you guys doing? Isla, don't be scared. I'm here to protect you. Everyone's mouths dropped open once more. The confusion escalated, but soon everyone sorted out their relationships. The verbal clash quickly turned into some shoving. Judging by their demeanor, none of them were real fighters. No one threw any serious punches. I watched all this with great interest from afar. Yep, it was Isabelle Hart who gave me the phone, and I sent messages, though I used them as pawns. Exposing Leah Monroe's true colors was a win. Leia, completely lost it the group, a chaotic mess. She guessed Isabelle was behind it and stormed over, glaring fiercely. This wassail you're doing, wasn't it? Without hesitation, she grabbed a glass of water and splashed it into Isabelle's face. Isabelle wasn't having it either. She slapped back hard, muttering, that's what you get for raising a brat you can control. They tore at each other's hair. In a full-on brawl, still the main big fish hadn't arrived yet, and the scene was already wild. No one noticed how a strange middle-aged woman suddenly broke through the crowd, stormed over to Leia, grabbed her hair, and started swinging her fists wildly. You dirty underscore, how dare you seduce my spawn, you're damn lucky to be alive. A cheap underscore going after some old man. How disgusting. And you expect him to buy you a watch. You're a damn watch yourself. Why don't you just go sell yourself? Leia's face was full of terror. Knowing she was in the wrong, she didn't dare fight back. The arrival off that big fish finally tore off the last shred of dignity from Leah Monroe. The commotion was so loud that some classmates called the police out of fear of trouble, while many others whipped out their phones to record videos, whether as evidence for the cops or to keep as souvenirs to replay and savor at home. Nobody knew. Hotel security rushed in first and broke up the brawl, separating those fighting. The rest was left for the police to handle when they arrived. Finally, it was my turn to make an appearance. I walked straight over to Isabel Hart, who immediately threw her arms around my neck, then pointed a finger at Leah Monroe and coo. She bullied me, although I felt a bit disgusted seeing Leah Monroe looking like a defeated stray dog as she stared at us was incredibly satisfying. She finally understood who had orchestrated all this tonight. It was none other than me. A few days later, Isabel Hart contacted me again, sobbing, telling me that the wife of that married older man had reported the case to the police, demanding the return of all the gifts her husband had given to Leah Monroe. I said, good, serves her, right? Isabella kept whining, saying that during the fight that night with Leah Monroe, the Rolex watch got scratched and would cost tens of thousands to repair. She and Leah Monroe planned to split the cost equally. Yeah, but it wasn't me who the fight, right? I hung up and blocked her. I did the math. She probably sold the bag I gave her to pay for the watch repair. Not much difference there. As for the Van Cleef Arpels necklace and bracelet and a Courtier watch, all cheap knockoffs, under $3,000 total. Let her keep them as